Worse than garbage. How the Biden-Harris administration neglects our children's health by ignoring wireless radiation risks. In the 2024 election, we have a critical opportunity to demand leaders who prioritize public health over corporate profits. The Biden-Harris administration's failure to update outdated FCC safety guidelines and defunding of the National Toxicology Program's vital cancer research leaves millions, especially our children, vulnerable to the harmful effects of radio frequency, electromagnetic fields exposure. Outdated FCC guidelines, science versus stagnation. Current FCC guidelines rely solely on the thermal model, outdated science from the 1990s that measures RF-EMF safety based on heating effects. This ignores mounting evidence of non-thermal biological effects that affect cellular health and increase cancer risk. Studies by the NTP and Ramazzini Institute found clear links between RF radiation and cancers such as brain and heart tumors. Meanwhile, the FCC's regulations remain frozen, endangering children whose thinner skulls allow deeper radiation penetration and heightened risk. Defunding NTP research, a devastating loss. The NTP's decade-long study, one of the most comprehensive on wireless radiation's health impacts, showed a causal link between RF radiation and cancer. Yet the Biden-Harris administration cut funding, stalling research that could have led to safer regulations. This defunding is a stark example of regulatory bodies influenced by corporate interests, as it prevents further investigation into EMF's non-thermal risks, leaving our children and future generations at risk. Regulatory capture, public health takes a back seat. For decades, the FCC has been entangled with the wireless industry, allowing corporate lobbyists to steer policy. Under former FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler, a known telecommunications advocate, safety standards remained unaltered despite mounting evidence of EMF's non-thermal effects. This regulatory capture reflects a broader issue. Industry influence prevents the FCC from protecting public health. The U.S. Court of Appeals recently ruled the FCC's refusal to update these standards as arbitrary and capricious, underscoring the need for science-based policymaking that prioritizes safety over profits. Misclassified health risks, the true impact of RF-EMF. The risks of RF radiation are not limited to heating effects. Studies demonstrate bioelectric dysregulation, which can disrupt cell function, potentially leading to cancer, neurological issues, and developmental disorders. Disregarding these effects could exacerbate ADHD, autism, and cognitive deficits, especially in children exposed to EMFs from a young age. The FCC's failure to reclassify RF radiation risks has delayed critical advancements in public health and safer technology. The 2024 election is an opportunity to support candidates who pledge to address these urgent public health risks. Understanding where candidates like Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stand on RF-EMF safety standards is essential. Voters deserve to know each candidate's stance on FCC reform, RF-EMF research funding, and EMF safety. Why voting for Kamala Harris could risk our children's health. Lack of FCC reform. Harris has not pressured the FCC to update outdated safety guidelines, leaving children unprotected from EMF's non-thermal effects. Defunding cancer research. By halting NTP funding, her administration has shown a willingness to put corporate profits above public health. Our demands for public health. Immediate FCC updates. Safety guidelines must account for both thermal and non-thermal EMF effects, ensuring a higher standard of protection. Restore NTP research funding. Critical cancer research must continue, equipping us with data necessary for informed safety regulations. End regulatory capture. The FCC must prioritize science and public health over industry interests, restoring public trust and protecting future generations. Conclusion. America deserves leaders who prioritize health over profit. The refusal to address RF-EMF health risks reveals a larger public health crisis, one that must not be ignored. Electing leaders committed to updating safety standards and restoring critical research funding is our best path toward safeguarding our children's future. The science is clear, and the time for action is now. Join the movement. Vote for leaders who value health, not corporate profits. Visit RF Safe to learn more about protecting your family from wireless radiation risks.